I might just like glitch out on purpose to watch to see how you do again this week.
No, man, that was high pressure.
You
was
did
too much
awesome.
pressure. I needed like one of the the cloth when they're like, oh dear.
You need to wear like one of those headbands that soak up your sweat, like you're playing
like
tennis.
Vasquez.
He's right.
What's up, folks?
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Sidekick Show. I am John Ho. That is Rob. Oh, I almost got it right.
That's John. I'm Rob.
Went the opposite way. What's up, folks? Look at everyone in the chat already.
I can't point the opposite way. No,
now
I'm punching you.
We got to back way up. Yeah. We should work on that bit where it's like, and then a fist comes in and you're like,
yeah.
Anyways, folks,
we could be doing this all night and realize what the hell's happening.
Yeah. We're like, we notice there's a time difference when we're looking at the countdown. We got a countdown on the screen, and Rob's like, we got 10 seconds, and mine's like, we got 53 seconds. I'm like, why is it so inconsistent? And I'm like, look at your watch. Then we start at 8. Look at your watch. It's 8.
There's a time zone difference between Markham and Durham region, I guess. I'm not really sure.
All right. Apparently we scared Fraser. He had to speak up a little loud. Yes, Lewis, dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah. So, John, this is crazy. What started off 2 months ago is now is wrapping up. It is the final night of our 80s sci-fi / action movie bracket.
Yeah, it's crazy because we took that break in the middle, so I feel like we did lose a little focus for a second there. But after watching, I got I think I got Aliens in right before this. Robocop I've rewatched many a time, so I didn't get a chance to rewatch that. But I would definitely 100% be fast forwarding to that Murphy death scene. I think, as I mentioned last week, that's like one of the most horrible things I ever put to film. I'm trying to think in my head something that's more horrifying than
I got it.
Yeah.
Ready? The never-ending story when Atreyu is walking his horse through the quicksand. And then
you know what? That's sad, but that's not scarring. You know what I mean?
No, like, I don't think I can count the number of on my hand number of times I've ever cried in my life, and that was one where as a kid I was like, no, and I would fast forward. I was like, what? Watching it? I'm not gonna watch it. Yeah, because I couldn't handle it.
I think I watched it when I was slightly too young to fully understand what was going on. It was at like I remember this. It was like at a daycare camp, and they showed Neverending Story. And I guess it's still considered a kids movie. I don't know if it is.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think so. Why do people at camps show like the weirdest movies for kids? Like I went to camp once and they showed us Firestarter with Drew Barrymore. Like it's a Stephen King movie. I don't think it's appropriate for a kids camp, an overnight kids camp. I could be wrong. Maybe I am wrong. I don't know. But
I don't know. God bless. Like I said, Highlander was one of them that I watched when I was a kid. They wheeled that VCR in on the TV VCR combo on that wheelie cart. And one of the other ones I distinctly remember was Princess Bride. So that I can't So Neverending Story, Princess Bride, Highlander. I'm sure there was other movies, but those three are ones that I distinctly remember being shown during a class school type.
Wow.
Setting. Yeah, so Princess Bride, that was pretty damn amazing. I feel like that one was the only one that was most appropriate, although the whole true love thing maybe flew over our heads when we were I want to say
it didn't matter. All you were just watching it for Andre the Giant. That's all you cared about.
Yeah.
Cool. Man. All right, and that's the show. See you guys.
Yeah, all right, see you guys. Thanks. No, yeah, so again, thanks for joining us, folks. We're gonna wrap up this best of 80s. And then we're going to maybe take a dive into the 90s. But I wouldn't mind mixing in something a little modern if you guys, but we'll talk about that, I guess, after we wrap up this 80s and see what y'all want to do next. So let's do new releases. I didn't really pull any new stuff. I pulled some stuff that I thought was relevant to what we're talking about today. So Marvel now is publishing an Alien comic book. So that is brand new. The first issue is sold out. You can see under Rob's face, was the first issue, first printing with an art germ cover. That is sold out right now. So we are getting second prints, which are these other two covers here. So they will be on sale on the 20th of this month. So that would be very interesting. And I will mention another one. This one, Alien 3, William Gibson's comic adaptation. So I don't know if maybe Rob knows a little bit more about this, but I guess there's many scripts that exist for Alien 3 that were supposedly going to get made. This William Gibson, he wrote a book called Neuromancer, which is considered, I think, one of the first cyberpunk publications or novels or something like that. He did a version of the script, and it is being adapted into many things. One of them is this Dark Horse collection that we can order in for you at the store. And apparently, I just found out it exists as an audio play with Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn?
Yeah.
Biehn? I thought it was Biehn.
No,
Michael Biehn. I always said Michael Biehn, but the guy who does Bishop, their voices actually in the audio recording. Yeah. So I'm like, that's cool. I'm gonna have to go find that.
Well, sorry, I'll just interject quickly. That Alien,
that was a pretty.
Yeah, the Alien 3 is a very interesting movie because that was it's being listed as directed by David Fincher, but it's very famous for Fincher like losing all control with Fox, them essentially ripping the movie out of his hands and re-editing it and recutting it. Him, I feel like, and it's been a long time since I've delved into this, but I feel like he took them to court to have his name removed from the movie. So, and he didn't win. So yeah, there is an original David Fincher cut of Alien 3, sorry. But we've never seen the light of day. So
yeah. So this William Gibson one, it continues the story with the Hicks character and the Bishop character going forward, because I think Aliens 3, I don't even remember if I've seen it or not. They removed those characters and it's just Ripley as far as I remember, right? So yeah,
they killed off. Yeah.
There was the little girl Newt, Hicks, and Bishop. They were all in the sleep pod, and then they just kind of disappear in the third movie. So so it looks like this has opened the doorway to releasing every single cut of whatever thing you've ever heard of. So sure, why not? Their artistic vision, it must suck to have things like that destroyed and ripped up. So why not let these directors and things come back and do things if it's financially viable? But yeah, that was all I wanted to bring up, Rob. I assume you got some news. If any news.
I do. Just a few items here. It was a bit of a slow week. I'll focus actually on some of the DC stuff that happened. So a little bit of sad news start off tonight, John, out of the DC Warner Brothers camp. Last week, we found out that DC are not moving forward with Ava DuVernay's movie, The New Gods, that she was writing with Tom King. They have completely shelved that project, as well as James Wan, the director of Aquaman and Aquaman 2. He had a side project on the go called The Trench, which was about the trench and the
sea monster,
scary ass sea monsters from and it was supposed to be a very low budget horror movie. When I say like low budget, I think it was sub 50 million, but Warner Brothers has decided to just move on in different directions from both of those projects. I gotta tell you, the Trench, I had no position, no standing. I don't really care.
I really questioned what it was going to be. If it was going to be just like a horror film where people are dealing with the trench, or was it going to be because they're the creatures that come up in Aquaman and basically suck down the boat. So they're basically just sea monsters, not to be confused with seamen, sea monsters. But it's like, what was it going to be? Was it going to be about their society, how they're mistaken as these murderous alien creatures or something like that? Like, it would have been funny.
But I'm pretty bummed out about the fact that there's no New Gods, that they decided to move away from that project. Now, there's a lot of speculation that because of the Snyder Cut being released and seeing Darkseid, that Warner Brothers all of a sudden got jittery about it. I have no clue. I mean, listen, we won't really know the real reason. All I know is I personally was really excited to see what they would have brought to see Jack Kirby's Fourth World up on the screen. So
I think maybe they realized it does exist. It's called Masters of the Universe. starring Dolph Lundgren.
All right,
if anyone doesn't know New Gods and Kirby stuff, a lot of it heavily influenced the He-Man line. So if you follow He-Man at all, it's got a very New Gods vibe. But I think it's such an obscure property that it's just like it is similar to like when they pulled Guardians out of like thin air, when like we're gonna make Guardians of the Galaxy. Pulling
we
New
also have
Gods,
the Eternals.
Yeah, pulling New Gods and the Eternals are very, very obscure, because even us as comic nerds, there's the next echelon of like this niche market that loves, you know, Kirby dots and New Gods and all that stuff, and the like the, you know, Eternals. Like they're all like they're a little bit out there. So I'm not super surprised, but it does kind of suck that people were attached to this and now they're, you know, it's gone.
I just wanted to address this is a sweater that's got full of nice fluffy stuff, and I'm feeling a little
Rob's cold.
Little tired today, so I kind of felt like being in warm clothes, Sarah. Also out of DC is some more information coming out of the Flash movie, John. Now DC, at the same time that they announced that they're getting rid of the Trench and New Gods, they came out and talked about the Flash movie and what their hopes are. Listen, we've talked about this movie, all the different Batman that are going to be in it. They have the new Supergirl that's going to be in it. The idea that I guess it's loosely based off of Flashpoint. Well, now DC is plotting its films and shows to share the same universe, and essentially Flashpoint will help make sense of all this, so that there won't be any difference between what's in the movies and what's on TV. I don't know how that seems like a huge task to be able for one movie that may hit no more than 2 hours to be able to propel the entire DC universe in both television and movie properties forward. But we do know that Matt Reeves, the Batman, will be set on Earth 2. So right there, they make an announcement saying everything will be connected except for these other properties. So who knows what's happening over at DC Warner Brothers?
Except for a few. Yeah.
Except for a few. And the last thing I want to bring up is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I'm very excited for, John. One of my favorite video games of all time, The Last of Us. We've talked about the fact that it's coming to HBO. They start filming in Calgary in July. So they are already in pre-production. I believe that some areas are already being built up out in Calgary. The interesting thing from the Directors Guild of Canada is that it is scheduled to go from July until June of 2022. So this is like, let's call it a year. Makes me wonder, are we looking at 2 seasons that they're going to be filming back to back? Because the girl who plays, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Ellie?
But I don't remember the actress name. But the girl who plays Ellie, is it because they want to get her before she goes through a growth spurt she'll be, you know, drastically different from season 1 to 2? I mean, it's just speculation.
Is it Bella Ramsey?
Yes, Ramsey. Right. Yeah, Bella Ramsey.
From Game of Thrones. Yeah. Right.
So is that the reason as to why the 11-month shoot? I have no idea, but that's a very long period of time for a 10-episode series. So we shall see. But I'm putting my money on the fact that it's likely going to be 2 seasons that they're going to be shooting back to back. So
yes, especially in this climate, they've already got an established property. Those are 2 known actresses as the leads, right? The Mandalorian. Whatever his name is,
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal. He was in every single movie for a second. I can't believe I forgot it. And then there's Bella Ramsey. So you might as well, like, especially like I said, in this climate, like rumor is they just dropped the Loki trailer, and rumor is they're already pre-production on season 2 has begun. So like, why not get him moving? Yeah. Maybe this is back to the age of I don't know if you watched that period of TV where basically everything was getting only 1 season and then getting canceled. So it really sucked. Yeah. You follow a show, fall in love with it, and then it would get canceled. So maybe we're going back to that era of like they'll commit to a couple different seasons, and we'll get a chance to watch, you know, a more fleshed out story.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. I didn't gather any of the news items for today. Today is apparently First Contact Day if you're a Trekkie.
There's a big Trek thing going on. Yeah.
But
season 2.
Yeah, but speaking of what you're just saying, that they've got there's a teaser, sizzle reel out for Picard season 2. They're showing off Discovery season 4. But to what you were saying about multiple seasons is that that Lower Decks, they released a trailer for season 2, which comes out in August, but they've also greenlit season 3 right off the already. So you're right. I guess, you know what, people are just taking their chance, saying, hey, listen, we figure this is going to be a decent IP. It's going to get some eyeballs on it. Let's commit the money that we know we're going to have at least 2 solid seasons for this show. I suspect that The Last of Us is going to have legs. I think it's going to go Game of Thrones length. I think we're looking at 6-7 seasons.
Whoa, that's crazy. Having never played the game, I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a lot. There are only 2 games, right?
Yeah, but they're very long.
And even really, I heard the first one was actually relatively short. No. But I like to go through and take my time and whatever, and see all the sites, do all the side quests.
Yeah, then you get an opportunity to go to the zoo and touch the giraffe. Then I spend like 20 minutes just pressing this button.
Do you platinum games on your PlayStation?
The only game I've been able to platinum has been Spider-Man. That was it. I've come close to The Last of Us 1, I think, but Spider-Man is the only one I've been able to platinum.
Yeah. No, I never got sucked into that. On the Xbox, they used to have those achievements.
Yeah. And
I used to play a lot of Gears of War online, and I was like, maybe I can get all the achievements. And some of them were like, get 500 of these in a match. And I'm like, never gonna happen. So I just
survived 24 waves of the Horde. You're like, oh my god.
But I've got a couple other people on my PlayStation list who do platinum games, and I'll look at their trophy lineup, and I'm like, that's pretty impressive, but I could never ever do that in my life.
I'm so glad Scott. So I don't know if he made a mistake. I don't know if I'm 100% complete dud or if I am 100% complete dude. Either way, I'll probably take it tonight.
100% complete dude. Yeah, that would be a great shirt.
Oh, well, I guess then that leaves us only to one thing, John, to discuss. And I'm very excited to see how things go tonight with you on Aliens, because you were sending me a whole bunch of stupid messages with respect to Aliens that shook me to my core, fell off my chair in complete disbelief, John.
Okay, so if you're joining us for should we talk a little bit about our other content that we released this week before we dive into this?
Sure.
So let's do quickly. So we did our typical that's straight up vodka. So we've been covering Winter Soldier and the Falcon. I always mix up the order. It's actually Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I don't know.
Episode 3 came out, and we do our coverage of that. Typically, it drops every Sunday. We dropped it out a little early and dropped it out like late Friday night or something like that. So that was a lot of fun. We're all really enjoying the show, so definitely check that out. Especially go back and check out the first episode and watch me absolutely butcher the summary. I think I'm getting a little bit better, so it's not as bad in the later episodes. And then we had special guest Scott show up for a Godzilla versus Kong movie review, which is absolutely hilarious. So it looked like a great. It still looked like, barring a few technical difficulties here and there, I think Scott dropped out a couple times, but maybe he was out, saving the day during those pauses. But yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. So definitely check that out if you have watched the movie and want to talk about it. Message the other guys, because I still haven't been able to fit it in. That's why I had to sit out. It was too much content for me to consume. And then we dropped a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. And then we dropped a couple other trailer reactions. Yeah. So if you're on the YouTube and you subscribe, you'll see these random trailer reactions drop. We tried to connect with Sarah and Gordon, but we had some technical issues with that. So we hope to get them back.
No, it's because they were pissed with you because of the last one you had them on.
Maybe that was it. Maybe they didn't.
Like, sorry, John, can't connect.
Like, we're not. Yeah. So there is a hilarious Rick and Morty trailer reaction with Sarah Gordon and Rob and my brother, which unintentionally turned out to be probably one of the funniest videos we've ever done. and it had nothing to do with Rick and Morty. We could have been reacting to The Color Purple or something like that. But
well, God, I hope we weren't reacting to The Color Purple in that way, because God, it was
I actually literally meant The Color Purple, but it is also a movie. It is also a movie title. I don't know why I landed on purple, because I was gonna say like Color Red or something, like just look at that color. Wow, it looks good, But
okay,
Side effect, color purple. Anyways, I think I've been drinking a lot, but that's fine. Not as much as Rob, but let's rock and roll. So let me pop that back up. Sorry, folks. So if you're joining us for the first time, we have been doing a best 80s action movie bracket. Our first bracket was all traditional steroid infused sweaty exploding gun violence type movies. Yeah,
flexing. Yeah.
So and this became our sister bracket of the sci-fi movies. And if you asked me before we started, I would have said that first bracket we did was my jam. But man, this sci-fi bracket became filled with heavy hitters. So much so that we kind of like had our top 4 almost determined right out the gate. But we decided to throw some other movies in the mix. So we did have Aliens versus Highlander. Highlander lost, doesn't quite stand the test of time.
At all. That was
yeah. And then Predator versus The Running Man in a surprise upset. Running Man actually wins this. Look at Rob shaking his head.
I'm still not happy with it. Like I'm
actually thrilled with it.
You're an idiot. I haven't come to accept it.
Anyways, that'll come up more, but definitely check that episode starring Sarah and Gordon. Mostly starring Sarah because she caused the whole thing, and I think it was great. Chaos. We couldn't have had a better result in that one. And then we had Terminator versus Blade Runner. Blade Runner not quite fitting in our action theming, I think, so Terminator took that. And then RoboCop versus John Carpenter's They Live. John Carpenter's They Live, fantastic fun, but RoboCop takes that. And then we move on to our semifinal. So hopefully you guys can see this here. So we have Aliens versus Running Man. Easy decision. Aliens sails through. Sorry, Running Man. You'll be back on a rerun maybe. And then Terminator versus RoboCop. We ultimately gave it to RoboCop because Terminator's legacy, Terminator 2, whatever bracket that ends up in, it's gonna take the whole thing home. I don't know what beats Terminator 2 in that era. Nothing comes to mind at all. So we had
Passenger 57.
No, Passenger 57 is a fantastic run, fantastic ride, but it does no way in any shape or form compete with Terminator 2. I'd be very surprised if something even gets close to it. So RoboCop takes that, and we end up with our grand final of Aliens versus RoboCop. But we do have a bronze match up. I said match like too many times, but
yes, you did.
I realized it after. Anyways, Running Man versus Terminator. I feel like we did give this to Terminator last week. I figured I'd save it for now to make it be official. So barring any, I don't know if
no, that's good.
Launch a rocket at me from here or something like that.
No, you're protected and safe. Terminator destroys the Running Man. Smell you later.
So we're here to talk about Aliens and RoboCop. All right, so let me move this. So Sarah in the comments.
Yeah. So let's get it in. First of all, I just want to preface by saying that I don't know. I feel like I don't know about you, John. I feel like my top 10 movies are always shifting and changing. So I don't really have a static list. I mean, I have a number of movies that I will constantly go back to and that I consider probably a top 10 in a top 10, but there's a lot of it are just really fluid and in flux. And Aliens is one of those movies where for me, it dips in and out of my top 10 for no real reason. It's not it's not reflective of whether I think it's a good movie or not. It's just, I think I don't watch it every year. I watch it every few years, but man, this movie holds up large. I am a big fan of this movie. So I'm not going to bear the lead of where I think it should end up being crowned tonight, but I'm more interested on your take because your text messages to me today, I almost had to call emergency services to send over to your house to make sure that it was actually you texting and not like, that you were coherent, because I was like, this makes no sense.
Okay. So I guess we're going to talk about Aliens first, or Alien talk is going to maybe take over. We did kind of talk about RoboCop.
We talked RoboCop. Yeah.
So RoboCop. Wow, is a fantastic film. So Aliens, Rob is funning me because I did Aliens. I don't know which version you watched. I had the special edition, which is 2 hours and 30, I think, in change. I don't know if you remember how much the original theatrical cut should be in length. He's gonna Google that right now. But
I'm gonna bring it up on my Disney Plus.
yeah. But for the first maybe about hour, the movie is kind of slow. So I had messaged Rob and I was like, "Oh man, this is slow compared to RoboCop, which is I feel very tight, very action packed." Yeah, so 210. So maybe an extra 20 minutes or so. But once it gets to like a little bit in, like maybe like the 60, a little bit before 60, when the Marines drop on the floor and get into the mix of that alien of the colony or whatever the hell you call it, oh man, it kicks into high gear. So yeah, so I messaged Rob during the first hour and I was like, yeah, this is a little bit slower than I remember. And then after that, it just goes running. But even just the overall spectacle of it. So I guess I'll talk about my overall thoughts of the movie. What this is like, it's James Cameron, right? And this is 19. Oh, hold on. I got it here. 1986. A budget of 18.5 million. So one of the larger budgets of the movies that we've talked about, but it brought in about 130 to 180 million. So it was a kind of like a blockbuster. What they were able to accomplish back then is pretty incredible. Like the sets, the all the vehicles and the stuff flying around and everything that went on. It does look a little dated by today's standards. Like sometimes when the aliens are like moving around, you're like, oh god, that looks a little funny. But overall, like it looks absolutely incredible. So and I will say that that ragtag bunch of Marines, I almost wish they kind of like they didn't show them until they actually start doing stuff. Because when they're goofing around and stuff, you're like, this is your elite group of military dudes that are gonna like kick everything's ass. And they don't. Like they're wearing all like kind of ragtag, like different stuff, and they're goofing around and everything like that. And I'm like, these guys don't hit me as like this elite team. And then later on, when they start moving around and the way they move with the weapons and all that kind of stuff, it does show off. Except for what's Bill Paxton's character name again? Hudson, I think.
Is he Hicks or Hudson? I think he's
Hicks is Michael Biehn.
Yeah, so it's Hudson. Yeah, Michael Biehn.
Hudson. Yeah, man.
Bane. I told you, like Bane. My name was Bird.
Are you ejecting that guy from the ship immediately?
I know that guy's so whiny. I'd be like, "Oh no, emergency lever open." Out he goes. Sorry, Hudson. Smell you later. Yeah.
But yeah, those are my quick thoughts, and I guess we'll jump. Rob, maybe you want to talk a little bit about your thoughts, and then we'll jump in. I see a bunch of comments here that we should probably go through.
Yeah. So okay, listen. I mean, it's so funny that you said the movie is dated. So I look at it and I think to myself, I was watching it. I watched it again today, and I was like, for 1986, this still holds
for that time. It's incredible, and there's
still
some
holds
points
up.
Where it holds up pretty, surprisingly well. But there is some points where you're like,
well, I know, I imagine
obviously advanced further than that, but
I imagine
it's very passable. Yeah.
Yeah, when that helicopter comes crashing down, remember the dual rotor blade? It comes crashing down, they're waiting for it, and you can tell that they are running through practical, forefront stones, and they've got the screen behind them, and it was inserted, so you can tell that. But that being said, you talk about the aliens looking kind of funny. If you go back to watching the first Alien, like it was just a dude in a black leotard with this helmet on. Comparative to what James Cameron did with this, I actually considered that this movie is more of a sci-fi horror action. It has some serious horror beats, and I wondered if that maybe led to your line of thinking that it felt slow, because a lot of those horror movies, there's a long buildup until you get to the antagonist who is coming to essentially to murder you, right? So but it is, I mean, listen, I laughed at myself when I was watching. I was like, this is the future. This is well into the future. It's 23 something, and they're still using bullets. But I'm like so happy that they're using bullets as opposed to like laser guns. Like, how different would it be if it was like pew, 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 like for this type of a movie, right? This is not the Star Wars universe. Scott brought up an interesting. So Jeanette Goldstein. So she played Lieutenant Vasquez. So this was really interesting because in 2016, it was the 30-year anniversary of the movie, and there was a conversation about whether or not she felt, looking back, comfortable playing a Latina character when she herself is not Latina. Now, she is Russian Jewish with she does, is it a little bit of Colombian and something else, I believe. So there was a lot of conversation around 2016, 2017 about whether or not that was that ought to have been allowed. I mean, listen, I don't, you don't want to dive too deep into what, but you can tell that they obviously used a lot of makeup to make her a little bit darker. She is a staple of James Cameron movies. She's the mom in Terminator 2. She's the Irish lady below decks in Titanic. So she has been one of his muses, I guess you could say, almost, right? So she's been in almost every one of his movies. Same with Bill Paxton. But it definitely is, when you're watching it now, you're like kind of cognizant of the fact that this is not not like Maria Conchita Alonso, who was in Running Man, right? So you're taking an individual who was playing a different ethnicity. So it was definitely a different time. 1986, different than 2016. I'm not sure, Scott, if that addresses what you wanted to bring up on that or not. But
I think it's just going to bring out how badass she was.
But yes. So, but wow, like she was ripped. Like when you saw her doing those like pull-ups on the
chin-ups. That's a James Cameron staple or something like that. Sarah Connor, probably the pinnacle of random chin-ups in a movie. But yeah, it's that character definitely was powerful. I didn't really get an ethnicity from her when I was watching it, to be honest. But I usually don't pick up on those things too well. But yeah, she was as far. Hey, folks, everyone drop down who your favorite Marine was. I'm a big fan of Apone, because he was cool. He wakes up, first thing he does, he wakes up out of the crowd chamber. He grabs like a cigar. I feel like it was almost like in the chamber with him, and he just like rolled over and just got it and stuck his cigar in his mouth. But hey, he was great.
Yeah, just to address, I wasn't leaning one way or the other, Sarah. I was just simply stating that this is what the conversation was about 4 or 5 years ago about it. You're right, but you know what's really fun? I can't remember who was the guy that she had the gun that was on the swivel arm, right? And then she had I think
her and another guy had it. I want to say it's Dutch, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so he also had the gun on the swivel arm. Well, she goes ahead and sprays the alien as they're trying to get back into the tank or rover. She sprays, the alien, like, explodes. The acid goes on his face. He's like, ah! And all of a sudden he's got the flamethrower and he flames and burns everybody. It was like, man, it was like a domino effect with that, right? I mean, those Marines, all but 4 of them got wiped out in that one scene.
Yeah. That's why I kind of criticize. Like one of my favorite things in movies is military dudes that are badasses and do their thing. So I feel like they weren't, up to snuff, but maybe they'd gotten lazy. Maybe they didn't have much to do, or maybe they just didn't expect. Maybe Ripley didn't do a good job explaining how nasty these aliens were. Like, I'm pretty sure they state that they bleed acid, which is kind of crazy.
It's right off the start.
Yeah. I don't know if she just didn't do a good job of explaining it and presenting it to them. They definitely went in very casually, and they went in like couldn't they have worn helmets or something to stop the face hugger? Like, couldn't she describe like how they got them in the last movie? and shout outs to I'll bring up Rick and Morty. One of their gags was they went to a planet where these face huggers came in, and one of the characters, Summer, her thing becomes that she walks around with a toothpick in her mouth. And the gag is that this facehugger goes to jump and take her and gets stabbed with a toothpick. So she's invincible to facehuggers, which is absolutely hilarious. So I'm like, couldn't you just wear a spike mask and take care of all these facehuggers? But I guess you wouldn't have a movie at that point. But yeah, who is your favorite Marine then? Is it Vasquez or is it Hicks?
I would probably have to go with Vasquez, and I'm just going to actually jump onto what Sarah was saying here, because this movie is the outlier to every other movie that we've discussed, in that this is the only movie with a strong female lead surrounded by strong female characters. And that for 1986 is huge. I mean, say what you want to say about James Cameron, and there's been a lot said about James Cameron, but man, he was, do we want to say ahead of his time? Do you want to say that he was firm in his stance on what he was doing, delivering strong, empowered female characters? I mean, you know, you can't.
Well, two of the most iconic are his, right? Sarah Connor and Ripley.
Yes.
Two of the most iconic female badasses. And Ripley, like, I want to say, like, if for some reason the movie didn't turn around for me, I would say maybe this movie is elevated on the fact that Ripley is such an amazing character. Like the way she takes charge when she first takes over the APC, because the guy just hesitates and does nothing. Like I'm surprised she just didn't put a bullet in that guy's head and just start. He's like trying to wrestle the wheel away from her, and she's like trying to. I was like, what the hell, dude? This guy should get thrown out of this thing like on the ASAP.
I also want to give shout outs to Lance Henriksen. He played Bishop. Like I'm a huge fan of Bishop because he played it with such a creepy undertone. It was definitely missing in the later Alien movies when you had Magneto, what's his face, as David. Fassbender, yeah, as David in the Prometheus movie and its Alien Covenant. I mean, he watching those movies made me long for Lance Henriksen because, man, he just had this, like, I mean, the way he had that, like his hair, like his tone and his voice, his facial, like it was just, this really is, it has so many horror movie beats to it. It's an all-encompassing movie. Yeah.
So that's your favorite Marine. I don't know if there's anyone else that's kind of in the candidacy. Most people say it's Hicks, unless you like the Bill Paxton character, just all the random one-liners, you know, game over, man. Game over.
Game over, man. It's game over. Yeah. He's always whining.
So like, yeah, everything he wanted to do, it'd be like, give me a glass of water. And he'd be like, no, I'm not gonna get a glass of water. I'm gonna burn myself. Like this guy, like,
how to make up this shithole.
How is this guy a Marine? So a little bit more on Aliens. What was the most terrifying part for you? I have one. If you need a second, I'll throw out mine. But
go ahead.
Okay, so my most terrifying moment, like if I was in that movie and I wouldn't want to do it, there's this point where they have to get Bishop crawls into this pipe, and he has to crawl to the whatever, and the pipe is exactly like his size, so he squeezes into this pipe, and they seal him in, and he's got to push. He's got like some type of device that he's got to push with him in a flashlight, and they hand him a gun. And he's like, no. There's nothing I'm going to do anyway, so he just hands the back of the gun. But if like crawling through that pipe would be absolutely terrifying. And I think he said he had it was like 45 minutes or so to get to where he had to go. I mean, like, 5 minutes in this pipe and I'm done. Open the seal.
I'm going to give you respect because I wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. They would have closed. As they're putting the lid back on it, and the light is fading, I would have been like, as soon as I get in, no, I'm out. Tap out. Get Newt. She's got way more room. I don't give a shit. Let her go forward.
Just being confined there. Even when I walk into you walk into a crawl space or something, if you can't stand fully upright, it really freaks me out. So I think if I had to crawl through that pipe, we'd all be dead. So Running Man, if I had to memorize that code, we'd all be dead. Aliens, if I had to crawl through a pipe to hook up the yada 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 whatever, then we're all getting acid bathed by aliens.
You're saying that if we were cellmates in Shawshank, we wouldn't be escaping because you'd be like too freaked out by crawling through the sewer pipes. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's right. That ended Dufresne. That robot Bishop. So listen, so what was I gotta get up to you on that one. That is, even thinking about it is giving the willies. It's also the it's interesting. So James Cameron, and this is what I like about horror movies, that you don't always have to show the kill. Sometimes the theater of the mind is much more terrifying. So when the alien is when that helicopter, the dual blade bird, goes up in the air. And I can't remember the name of the characters right now, but the guy's like, "Oh, what the hell's the sticky stuff?" Right? And she goes, "You get up here." And then like the alien, like it like the tail, like it unfurls, right? And then you hear that like that. You just see like you kind of only the shot is framed that you only see like 3% of her torso, like her arm, but then you just see blood, right? And then the thing starts to crash. Like the whole idea that you are completely helpless, you don't need to see the death. And if you go back into that, you don't actually see deaths done by any of the alien creatures until well into the movie. It's like Jaws, where you would only see things off screen, you would hear it, right? And that is what's so terrifying. That's what makes Jaws.
Even when Paul Reiser's character gets it, a door just opens and you just see an alien face and then it just cuts away, and you're like, yeah, I assume he's dead. Although some people are like, yeah, maybe he lived and made a negotiation with the alien to make some money or something. I don't know.
No.
But what a funny character. Like do you immediately, like, they were having a whole debate on like if they're gonna kill this guy or not for letting the face huggers loose and trying to like kill Ripley and Newt. How did that guy not get killed at that point? Like, that's ridiculous.
His problem with his character was this, John, is that, and I as soon as I saw him on today, I remembered, I was like, God damn it. Even in the future, we're still having to wear ties. Like, can we just be done with the ties already? I was like so frustrated. He's got a wool blazer and a tie, and I'm like, come on, man. That's all I got.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so let's if anyone else has got, like, I see some people are jumping on with their favorite moments.
This one. I agree with Gordon. When they have the camera and he looks over, like the egg has already been hatched, that's creepy. But when you're walking there and you see that thing go like that, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, so let's Sarah's talking about the exosuit. That was pretty cool for it to come back. Like at the end, she shows that she can pilot it, no problem, and then it shows that up at the end, and it's like, I feel like it's one of the earliest versions of an exosuit that we've seen in movies. I don't recall ever kind of seeing it anywhere else. And then you see it in like Matrix and all these other type of things, and so many sci-fi things. I think Avatar even has it too as well, right?
Yeah. Yes, he does. Trying to see, Scott's favorite part of the movie was cargo pants. I'm not sure why.
The cargo pants.
All right.
The Paul Reiser Burke character wore. He would wear like a fancy top, and then he'd be wearing like khaki cargo pants.
So is this a movie though, John, that you would rewatch? How about that? Is this a movie that you would rewatch sooner than later, or is this, you've watched it, you're good now for like the next 5 or 10 years, like it's not something that's going to circle back on your radar?
If we're given basically the movies that we've already been looking at, other stuff like the Terminator and Robocop are much more in my wheelhouse. So okay. I will definitely be rewatching those before watch Aliens, but I can really appreciate Aliens for what it did, the characters in it. Ripley is just an amazing female lead, when at a time that I don't know if there were female lead reluctant action hero type characters. So yeah, I definitely would rewatch it down the road, or have a sit down if it came on. Like none of us have cable anymore where you're flipping through channels anymore. But if you flip through the channels and I stumble across at the hour or so mark in, yeah, I'm definitely watching it till the end. I don't know how many editions you own of this on Blu-ray or whatever.
No, I have the Alien quadrilogy on Blu-ray. I do not own any of the Aliens versus Predator movies, which is a whole other sub genre altogether. Listen, I quite enjoy this. I like Alien for what it was in '79, Ridley Scott. I love Aliens. Not overly fancy on Alien 3, and I found Alien 4 to be a travesty. So
I don't even remember that an Alien 4 existed. But Scott says he would watch Aliens over RoboCop. but he would watch Terminator over all of these. And I have to agree with him. Terminator is really my jam, even though I did pick Robocop to advance just because of its charm. Like Terminator, just like I don't know what it is about Terminator. I've watched so many iterations of it, and some of them weren't good, but I still like them. I think
But
we talked about you.
you're talking about Terminator 1 though? Like Terminator 1 is that high up on your list, eh?
I think so. I think I just like the lore that it sets up, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is definitely a big factor of that. Arnold Schwarzenegger is like probably my all-time favorite actor performer.
Right.
Tom Cruise is getting close though. Tom Cruise is really like going crazy with his Mission Impossibles and stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely Arnold Schwarzenegger is like my number one. So if somehow they fit Arnold into Aliens, then 100% it would be Aliens on my list or something, you know?
Aliens versus Terminator.
Yeah.
So where do you want to go from here? Are we crowning? Are we making a decision here? I mean,
I think it's already like even in the like we're getting the feedback we're getting from the chat and stuff like that. I don't think RoboCop wins this fight, and I think we knew this going in. Like when we started this, when we had our 4 movies that we were considering top, I think we had already established. I don't know what's beating Aliens. I thought maybe it had a chance. When I got that first 60 minutes in, I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe this won't win it. But the second half of it, wow, it's just like it does kind of step a little bit beyond the horror. So it's not quite, you know, how Predator is more thriller horror. Aliens definitely has a lot more kind of things going on, a lot of things that they established. Just the alien, just wandering through alien corridors. Like I was like, man, I can't believe they haven't gotten the video game for this right. I haven't tried that Alien Colonial Marines game or whatever. I don't know if that's better, but I can't believe they haven't gotten it right. Yeah.
But you're right. That the sensor, right?
The tracking device. Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it's absolutely terrifying, right?
I used to that used to be my jam in Call of Duty. I used to, you bring that motion sensor, so you'd sit in the corner and you wait for someone to come out, and then eventually people start using perks that become immune to it. So that's a little bit of nerding out. But I will say, like, I don't know if you've looked into ever purchasing, you know, that pulse rifle that they have, one of the most iconic weapons in movie history. But that pulse rifle, one of my customers bought it in the airsoft version.
Okay.
It had the digital readout, which would show, I don't know how accurate it was, but it was cool. It was probably like $500 or $600. But
wow,
it was probably one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. I have a Terminator endo skull head, the Arnold head. If I could, I would definitely put that alien rifle like right next to it. That would be pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So if anyone wants to make a case for RoboCop or wants to object,
speak now, forever hold your peace.
Or forever hold your peace, and then we'll kind of start talking on to what we want to move on to next. So let's give them a second to catch up in the chat, and let me look at our old bracket, because basically we were gonna have like a winner of this versus winner of that. So I'm just gonna find it.
This chat has now devolved into GoldenEye for the N64 because nobody wants to go up to advance.
So no one's talking about RoboCop. So I think, who's talking GoldenEye? Gordon, are you talking GoldenEye? Because we should definitely.
Frasier is.
We should talk over GoldenEye. We used to. Like now we're gonna delve into video games. GoldenEye was one of those games like when the N64 first came out, because you could play 4 players. Me and my friends played that game so many times, like so much time in there. And this is before the internet came around. But we would just rock the crap out of that game. And then it was followed by Halo. And then I feel like we could have probably been tournament level nerds that we played so much of that game. It was every day in my basement after school. I would just leave. I had a sliding door for my basement, and it would just be unlocked, and my friends would just come over to the backyard, open the sliding door, and we'd be playing like friggin' Halo and all kinds of stuff all night. Perfect Dark I never got into. Sorry, we're sidetracking into video games too much. So the original bracket, Die Hard was first, Lethal Weapon 2 was second, and Commando was third. Okay. So this one, I guess we might as well just send Aliens through. I don't think anyone's really going to object. So you have 10 seconds to comply.
Wait, 10 seconds for real time or 10 seconds John computer time?
Hey, my time is fine. Look at your watch next time, and you'll notice the time.
Following the StreamYard countdown clock.
I don't know why it's different on yours. In my thing just crashed. All right. So, anyways, give me. Start talking about stuff, Rob, and let me get this.
We're gonna get into what's coming up next, but Scott is he's on board for the Remo Williams. The adventure continues.
This guy in his Remo.
Actually, do you know what I just downloaded? I think I mentioned this last week. I downloaded The Last Starfighter, the movie, and I don't know if we talked about this in the news last week or not, but Gary Whitta, who has written a number of some of your favorite sci-fi movies of late, and of course none of them I can think of off the top of my head, but he is this close. He released like a 6-minute pre-viz video, a storyboard video of a new chapter of The Last Starfighter, and this is a movie that came out in the 80s. Do you remember this movie, John? The guy's name was Alex something. Anyways, he played this video game, right? The Last Starfighter. And it ended up being that these video games were all over the world, but they were trying, these aliens were using it as a training device to find out who could beat this other alien armada coming through. And this guy, Alex, ended up beating the game.
The plot? Didn't they steal this plot for a couple other things?
I don't know.
I feel like this is stolen for some other movie as well. Not it stole it. Another movie took this idea that the video game was training people to be whatever. I feel like it was semi-recent too.
So, anyways, Alex is taken off into space and to fight for the Galactic Empire. At any rate, this is a movie that has been in development hell, a sequel, because the rights holder was like, "No, I'm not making a sequel." Da da da. Anyways, it looks like we might be getting a sequel of Last Starfighter. So, are you? What did you finally brought up? What you were looking for?
I got it up. I'm just laughing at the chat here. So definitely, Gordon, I'm gonna go double back and check Perfect Dark. I don't know why. I think it was too late in the development cycle. We never got to it. But anyway, so Aliens, we're gonna give that the win. Seemed like a obvious choice. So let's end the tournament and we'll see. So our top 3 is Aliens. That would go up against Die Hard, Robocop that would go up against Lethal Weapon 2, and the Terminator that would go up against Commando. So we'll just look at so 4th place, Running Man, solid effort. Very, very good that it made it this far. And then a whole bunch of 5th place ties.
So are you trying to say that you want to be able to pick a top 3 overall?
No. Let's do that quick, and then looks like Sarah's already like, what are we gonna do this week? So let's just quickly debate it. Aliens, Die. I'll throw them out, Rob. You give me your answer, and people in the chat can answer if they want. Aliens versus Die Hard. What do you choose?
Oh God,
it's Friday night. You got a bowl of popcorn. It's not Christmas. We'll strike that against Die Hard. It's not Christmas time. Do you watch Aliens or Die Hard?
I'd watch Aliens.
Yeah, I think I would actually choose. Oh man, Aliens. Yeah,
I choose Aliens if it's July. I choose Aliens because I had just watched Die Hard 7 months prior.
Yeah.
Watching
if it's the holidays and there's snow on the floor, I think I'm watching Die Hard.
Sure, you are.
Otherwise, I think I'm watching Aliens because and I'll probably just watch the last part of it because that's like 2 hours and 30 minutes was too long. Anyways, Robocop versus Lethal Weapon 2. I know what you're watching. I'd like to know what everyone else is watching. What if they had a crossover? That'd be incredible. I actually pick
magic immunity.
I would actually pick Robocop. Robocop's one of my guys growing up. So I would definitely choose that over Lethal Weapon 2. Although my appreciation for the Lethal Weapon franchise has definitely come up in the course of this exercise.
That's all I can ask for, John.
Yeah, and then Terminator versus Commando. What do you pick from that? We know that I'm picking Terminator, but what would you pick, Rob?
I'd pick Terminator.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I feel like it's pretty straightforward. I think general for most people are going to pick Robocop over Lethal Weapon 2, but I could be wrong.
Yep. No, I think you're right.
Fraser is in the chat.
I mean, they're wrong, but I think you're right.
Yeah, Jonathan Yo agrees. Terminator over Commando. Sarah's continuing telling Gordon to shut up.
Which is really funny because they're just right next to each other, but that's fine.
Well, you never know. Scott actually is on board with you. Lethal Weapon 2. He's actually shouting out Lethal Weapon 2.
There you
go. Jonathan Yo said he would watch Aliens over Die Hard. So Lewis says Die Hard. Anybody else? Scott says Die Hard. Yeah. So Die Hard. It's like I said. It's a tough one to beat. Although, you have more characters to chew on in Aliens. I feel like, especially.
I think that when we started this, I mean, listen, you know, you and I had a conversation way back when, and we said, listen, we want to see if we can. We don't want to fall prey to the same old that every other list has always said Die Hard is the greatest 80s action movie, right?
Yeah.
But throughout the course of this, these brackets, there has been a lot of really good 80s action movies. And I would say, John, that there are some movies that could be even, some might consider better than Die Hard as an 80s action movie. But I think you can't help but your brain will automatically go to Die Hard as the ultimate 80s action movie. And it's so imprinted and ingrained in our DNA and our psyche. You can't take that away. And this is not me slamming Die Hard or anything else. I'm actually, it's left an indelible mark on everybody. And so you know, if we had to pick an overall winner, I think you have to go Die Hard. And now I can understand why every other list is always saying Die Hard.
I think it's an easier watch. Whereas Aliens, it might be the better or film with more going on. Die Hard, you just turn it on. You can be making dinner at the same time, roasting your turkey or whatever you want to do. So Sarah says she would choose Aliens. And I can imagine what a character like Ripley means to an audience that more identifies with her, because we're so used to getting the muscle bound male hero knight that saves the day. So for the other audience to have characters like Sarah Connor and Ripley, I can't imagine what that's like. Fraser actually chooses RoboCop over Lethal Weapon 2. So what about RoboCop over Lethal Weapon 1? Would you watch Lethal Weapon 1? Scott says Terminator 1. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to pick Commando in this situation. Although Commando is the setup for everything that Arnold Schwarzenegger is to become. And it would have been interesting if we got a Commando 2.
It would have been. For me, listen, the Lethal Weapon movies are much easier for me to digest than, say, RoboCop. Like, I think I have to be in a really, like, some of these movies I have to be in a mood for to be able to watch them. The Lethal Weapon ones, I could just, it's like, you know, eating candy. I'll just like, oh, and I love it. So
it's your jam. Scott mentions Over the Top. I think Over the Top was disqualified because it was sports.
That's right.
Blood sport.
How much an action movie is really arm wrestling? If you really think about it, right? I mean, come on.
He's got to turn his head around and turn into a machine. And shout outs to Bloodsport. Yeah, I thought that was going to make it further. Actually, it actually did well. Bloodsport did well. Roadhouse was one of the ones that I actually wished got a little further, but it had a tough matchup out the gate. I forgot who it went up against, but it was like almost an auto lose. Gordon tells himself to shut up. So the chat, if you're listening on audio or if you're watching on something else and you're not seeing the chat, definitely tune into the YouTube. So I guess that wraps up our 80s for now. Do we want to step away from the 80s for a bit?
Yeah, we've watched everything. What's next? Rom-coms? I'm not really down for a 3 Men and the Baby rewatch, John. So
no, that's not a rom-com. That's about parenting.
I want escapism, John. I don't want to delve into the world of the real. I don't care about that shit, man. So yeah, okay. I think hey, thanks everybody for participating in these last what has it been 8 weeks doing the 80s brackets. So 8-9 weeks. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going through a couple more of the comments. But yeah, so let's talk about what you guys want to do next. Do we want to take a little dip into the 90s? I actually was craving diving into modern, something modern for a little bit of break. I don't know what you're feeling like, Rob.
I have this massive craving. I've been holding off watching it because I was going to float this idea. So I'm glad. I would love for us to watch Dread. the Carl Urban movie, because I feel that it's a movie that never got its just dues, that kind of flew under the radar, and it is one of my favorite modern action movies of late, and maybe even one of my favorite superhero movies as well. Sorry, comic book movies. And I believe it is on Netflix. I'm going to double check that.
Okay, he's going to double check that. So if you guys have got some ideas, definitely toss them out. One of our original ideas that came up before was, and I did bring my Laserdisc, but I think we're running out of time, so I'm not going to go through them all. Was this gem here?
Wow.
Last Action Hero. So this is a Laserdisc. This is a deluxe widescreen edition, and the back of it had so much real estate that it was basically like a Wikipedia entry on the back of your movie. So I think that should be on the table. So Last Action Hero, Dredd rewatch.
Dredd is on Netflix. Just as an FYI, it's on Netflix.
Yeah. So we could go through Dredd. Do you not want to warm up with the Sylvester Stallone version first?
Oh, dirty. Oh man, like as a compare, look at that, eh?
Yeah. So for you young cats, this is
giant CD.
So you can see this is bigger than my head. It's basically the size of a record, and there's like 3 of them in this case here, and on each side is maybe about 30 minutes of the movie. So every 30 minutes, you would have to walk up to your Laserdisc player, flip this son of a bitch over, and put it on the new side and hope you didn't screw it up.
just so stupid. Wow. And then it'd be like resume, start side 2.
No, you would just have to hit play. Yeah, you just have to hit play. And I don't remember if there's trailers on each side, but it was pretty hilarious. So on the table is did anyone make any suggestions in there? So Dredd 3D looks like it's getting a lot of love. Last Action Hero, which maybe we'll stick to something modern. And I really wanted to rewatch John Wick, so I don't know if we want to do a John Wick trilogy rewatch. I've been putting it off for so long. I think I've only seen 2 and 3 originally in the theaters, and I watched a couple times. So Scott throws out Tron. I don't know if he's suggesting Tron or if he's making fun of my Laserdisc.
Tron, the original Tron, is very hard to watch right now. It's a very tough watch. Tron Legacy is phenomenal. But man, yeah, Tron is so, it's so funny. Fraser, I think, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. A couple people throwing Mortal Kombat, and the new Mortal Kombat comes out on April 16th. So we actually could save that a little closer to, actually, it'll be right around the corner. It was pushed back a week, so it's end of April. And correct me if I'm wrong, we're in April now, right?
Yes.
We passed April during the long weekend, yeah. So we could put that on there. Wow, there's a lot of Mortal Kombat. Or actually, sorry, Gordon just threw in a Mortal Kombat times 12, so I miscounted. But he spelled Mortal Kombat wrong. You're supposed to spell it with a K.
With a K. Lewis is April 23rd. Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat did get moved to end of this month. I can double check that real quick.
Well, anyways, it's coming up. So we could watch something else and then follow with Mortal Kombat, which takes us into the new movie, which I'm 100% going to cover. I know Rob was kind of lukewarm about it, but
April 23rd in Canada. You know what, John? And I'll give you another reason why I was lukewarm. I would have watched it. I spent $25 on Godzilla vs. Kong, and Warner Brothers pulled the rug out from underneath me and made it only a 24-hour rental. And I know you're like, well, who gives a shit, man? It's for $25. You got to see a movie, right? But I was expecting to go in and have 48 hours of.
I feel like you should have at least 2 days. If you started one, like at least if you went to Blockbuster, Rogers Video back in the day, I feel like it was at least a 2-day rental. What became the standard? I think they did have like you rent it one night, you watch it that night, and return it. But I feel like 2 days became the standard.
Okay, so that Mortal Kombat is the 23rd, John. Today's the 5th.
So,
we have 2.
So we can still fit that in. I feel like we can actually fit in all 3 of these movies. We could do next week. We could do Dredd if people are really feeling Dredd. And then
the 19th. The
And then
19th we could do. Is it? We're just going to do the first Mortal Kombat movie, or we?
Yes, we're not touching any of the ones. We're definitely not going to watch Annihilation. But the original Mortal Kombat. So maybe next week, Dread, original Mortal Kombat, and then we'll see if we want to do Last Action Hero, or maybe we should kick off like when we start doing 90s. Is Last Action Hero 90s? I'm pretty sure it's 90s, right?
I believe it is. Yeah,
it's definitely not 2000s.
Well, yeah. It's 97, I think. 93.
93, yeah. So maybe we save that for the 90s kickoff.
Okay, so is it? Are we decided? Are we doing Dread? And then I do want to get into the John Wick trilogy, John. So maybe right after that we can jump into John Wick. After the
maybe we take maybe we do Mortal Kombat, and then we dive into something modern, just so because we always compare everything to modern movies, especially like I said, I like military badasses. So John Wick with all its tactical training that the stars go through and things like that, I definitely would like to see that again. And this is one of the only ways I'll fit it in, and I would love to enjoy it with all of you. So are we putting so everyone, if you're cool with Judge Dredd followed by Mortal Kombat, do we want to at least plan the next 2 weeks out? Mortal Kombat, sure. And then bonus homework. If you watch Dredd 3D, and if you can fit in the Sylvester Stallone, Rob Schneider original Dredd one, I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know if that's available on any service or not, but that would be a fun.
I think it's a blight on society, and it's been moved from.
I feel like I saw it on something. I feel like I saw it pop up somewhere.
But not anymore. I think you're right. It was on there. Listen, this is a movie that's only 20% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's not currently available, but good luck if people do. I might own the DVD. I'm not too sure.
Okay, so we'll put this on the schedule unless anyone really objects, but I think this will be fun to do together. So Dredd 3D, bonus, watch the old Sylvester Stallone one. And then the following week we'll do Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat. And then bonus would be that, what was that web series called? Mortal Kombat Legacy or something like that?
I never watched it.
Yeah, it's a bunch of YouTube shorts with Michael J. White and Jerry Ryan and stuff like that. I want to say it was called Mortal Kombat Legacy or something like that. I'm sure someone might be able to correct me on that. But yeah, maybe do those two, and then after that we'll decide if we want to do the 90s yet, or we'll do the John Wick trilogy, which I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then
sure.
I think we'll have to invite some guests for this. If we're gonna do single movie coverage, I think we have some room to bring some people on, which I think will be a lot of fun.
Sounds good.
Mortal Kombat,
cool.
I think it's Mortal Kombat Legacy. Yeah. So Comic Book Craig joining us last minute. Thank you for tuning in, man.
So I just want to quickly announce, John, that I had mentioned some issues, and I've locked off my Instagram.
Yeah, because people on the internet are jerks. So Rob had some issues, but he wants to separate because he does share his family type stuff on his other various things. So he's going to separate it a little bit. So without further ado, go ahead with your announcement, Rob.
Okay, so as John was saying, I had some issues. People making funky comments. I'm pretty sure it was Sarah.
No, I think Sarah would have cleared those issues out for you if you wanted. The next shirt we would have is Unleash the Sarah or there something along those lines. Or Release the Sarah. She was going to clear that all up for you. So, but we don't want her going to jail for crimes. Vigilante justice.
But anyways, so I've actually decided to start off a new handle and a new Instagram profile, and it's finally kicked off today, and it actually I'm not going anywhere, but I'm actually gonna, in the next couple of weeks, there'll be a new YouTube channel starting up. as well, where I'm just going to be kind of reviewing some of the shit that I have behind me, comics and statues and collectibles. And John's going to be jumping in, making appearances. And it's just, and maybe I record all these things and I don't put it out there. Maybe I do. Maybe it lasts for 4 weeks and that's it. But here is the new, you can find me on Instagram at _905. So you can get at me there going forward. And I know that we have a lot of our
AKA option 3.
Yeah, we have a lot of our listeners and loyal watchers who are on Discord. So I will be joining that with that new handle, so you can get me there. And so follow me on Instagram there. And again, a YouTube channel will be appearing. And but I'm not going anywhere from the Heroes World stuff. I'm just doing something on the side just for shits and giggles. And maybe it won't last very long because it'll be shit, and I'll have 2 subscribers, and it'll be me and John.
Hey man, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's add more shows. I would like to do content. If anyone else wants to do content, definitely let me know, and we'll get that rolling. I think is that it? Do we got everything? So you got your 905 up. We talked about next week, so we're doing Dread 3D. If you can watch it in 3D,
which I think Lewis and I can, because I feel like Lewis and I may have gone shopping at the exact same time. We seem to have the same television and with 3D capabilities. 60-inch plasma in our basement with 3D. So I have a funny feeling Lewis and I will be rocking the 3D glasses. So if you can watch that in 3D, and then bonus, if you have time to watch the Sylvester Stallone, Rob Schneider. I don't know how much is going to come up in the conversation, but if I can fit it in, I'll definitely give it a shot. I vaguely remember Rob Schneider jumping out of a robot covered in spaghetti. I don't know if that was a weird dream I had, or if that is actually in that movie. That's in the movie. that movie actually was so bad. The director, I think he quit. I feel like it was Rob Cohen. He actually quit making movies for a very long time because it was such a massive headache dealing with Stallone. But yeah, in Canada, it's on Netflix. So if you are a Netflix subscriber, Dread, it's just called Dread, is on there with Carl Urban, and we hope you enjoy it. And if we'll find out if you do or if you don't next week.
Yeah, so definitely hit us up, and I think that's all we got to say tonight. Thank you again for taking this 80s run back journey with us. We will get to the 90s, I think, but I think we'll mix it up with some fun stuff in between. So the schedule again is Judge Dredd 3D. Mortal Kombat the following week, and then after that maybe we'll do a John Wick trilogy if you guys are up for it. And I think that's all we got for you.
That's it. And just to clarify, yes, John, it's just Dredd. It's not Judge Dredd. It's just Dredd.
I thought it's called Dredd 3D though. I think it's the official name, Dredd 3D.
Right, but it's not Judge Dredd. It's just Dredd.
Okay, people know what I mean.
I'm here to correct you, John. That's all.
Anyways, yeah. So Lewis, we think Dread is on Netflix at the moment.
Yeah, it is. I just checked.
Yeah. Shout outs to Cersei Lannister, aka she was also Sarah Connor in the TV show. Was she? That's
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
Which I actually did quite become a little bit fond of towards later seasons. But anyways, we're gonna stay here all night with you, and that would be awesome. I'm sure everyone's got things to get to. So thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, and we'll see you guys again very soon. I think
cool.
That's it, right?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks, John.
Thank you.
High five. No, high five. Yay.
Oh no, I'm going the wrong way. All right, we got to work on that bit. All right.
Yeah. All of a sudden now we are Night at the Roxbury.
No, we're not watching that. All right, peace out.